Hello and welcome to another update video about Solana. Solana shows weakness. I mean, overall, to be honest, it's holding quite well compared to what Bitcoin is doing. However, I think it would really love to break out to the upside, but the price is just still caught in this price channel. It reacted obviously yesterday perfectly to the 50% retracement level, and you can see how relevant this FIB level is. This is basically the maximum it should have done, right? And ideally it's turning around now. So what we don't want is another break below the 50% FIB level. I mean, if it's another, a wick and then it recovers, fair enough. But as I said to you before, I mean, nothing is broken yet. And we have also not confirmed that the fifth wave has started. The fifth wave can really only be confirmed once we break out of the corrective price channel to the upside. So the corrective price channel is still playing out at the moment. Especially the last move down worries me a little bit because it's not clearly showing us any motivation that it wants to turn around. Now, here it goes back to, nobody's got a crystal ball and we just have to go with what we see. And what we see is at the moment support is holding. And all we can really do is to trade reward and risk, okay? Two things come into play here. First one is, anybody who's new on this channel, we need to see 5 waves up, and then we can define a support area for a 3-wave pullback for a reliable trade setup with good probabilities. This here is a wave 4 with a wave 5 to come. There are no good probabilities here. Good probabilities come only after the price is formed 5 waves up. So the mindset needs to be, let the market show us if it wants to turn to the upside here for a larger time frame uptrend, and the medium term uptrend. Then we can scale into the pullback in a wave 2, and that's a high probability trade. That's not only high probabilities, it's also good reward and risk. Here you could argue, okay, we're now very low in the support area, decent reward to risk ratio for a trade towards $25.50 to $27, but questionable probabilities, because after 3 waves, we know that altcoins often fail. That's precisely why we always say to really confirm that a lasting low has been established. Here, we want to see 5 waves up and 3 waves down. So here we just need a bit of patience now and see if the market can show us that 5 waves form. To be honest, I'm skeptical now because the price had many chances to break to the upside. The wave 4 is long enough. It doesn't need to go any longer. It's also deep enough. It actually came down deeper than ideal. The ideal target for a 4th wave is always the 38.2 Fibonacci retracement at $22.30. That broke. That's okay. Okay, that's okay. But the price seems to be consolidating below that level. That's still not a problem. The biggest problem comes from a sustained break below the 50% retracement. And if we see one more low, and Bitcoin might want to go that way. I mean, Ether weak today as well, perfectly respecting our fibs. Bitcoin as well. Yeah, and I mean, again, it's holding. I mean, look at what ETH is doing, right? Quite weak. And Solana is holding quite well compared to that. But nevertheless, in that environment, it will be more difficult for Solana to break to the upside. So it's literally here, the floor is starting to crack, you could say. The floor is starting to crack, and I think it is very well defined what needs to happen here. The price needs to hold that support level, then break above the price channel. The resistances are very well defined as well. And target as well. We talked about that in previous videos, $25.50 to $27. But a sustained break below it will let me assume that the price only topped in 3 waves. And then a few people ask me for targets then. I mean, what would be a target if we top in 3 waves? Well, we probably go back to $15 at least, yeah, probably lower. That remains to be seen. We will need to look at the structure. But the idea would be, I mean, the alternative bearish scenario is that this was just a wave 1 to the downside. This is a wave 2 to the upside. And we're doing, so 1, 2, and this is a 3, 4, 5. Okay, so that's obviously then the bearish scenario. So it really is important for Solana to hold that support. Yeah, I can't really add anything else now. So the support is clear, needs to hold. Probability wise, you always ideally you always want to trade where probabilities are on your side and reward to risk, not only reward to risk. That's and then it comes down to your own risk tolerance and risk appetite. So again, probabilities are on your side once we have 5 waves up and 3 waves down for trading the third wave. Until then, this is not a high quality setup indicated through the orange color, right? If we get green or yellow, that's better. Then we have 5 waves up and 3 waves down. We can look at that. But at the moment, we are here in a more high risk space, you could say. Still decent reward to risk, from a reward to risk ratio point of view, because it should get to 25.50 as long as $21.60 is holding. And the closer, it's always the case, the closer you can position yourself to an invalidation point, the better from a reward to risk point of view. But arguably, it has come back deep in support. We expect further continuation to the downside on the Bitcoin Ethereum chart. So it's tricky for Solana. The bulls need to show up here. Everything's there. The bulls just need to turn up. And if they don't show up, then we are going to see each other probably at $15 next. I mean, there are other micro support levels. I mean, clear support. There are several support levels. I mean, below $21.60, it's $20.20, very clearly. Yeah. But the thing is, if we arrive there, yes, we could see a bounce, but the probabilities for a clear impulse have reduced. Well, it can't be an impulse anymore. It could still be a diagonal. You know the routine, but it's just not a reliable pattern anymore. Here we have a chance that it turns into a reliable 5-wave move up. And below $20.20, yeah, it's the wave 2 low, $18.80, and then we get back into the $17 range. That's my update about Solana. Hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.